Good morning and welcome to Newsfirst Prime Time Sunrise.
Today, the 7th of May 2014, a very good Wednesday morning to you and welcome to this edition of Primetime Sunrise. I'm Katharina Chang. Let's take a look at what's making headlines. Two more trains collide. Train services delayed along the coastal belt. Special traffic plan in place in Colombo in lieu of the World Conference on Youth. MTVsports commenced on strike actions.
කට්ටියක විතරක් අයිතිවාසිකම් හොයනවා මුළු මහත් රටේම අයිතිවාසිකම් පාගන ගමන්
8 more schoolgirls abducted in Nigeria. Train on South Coastal Line delayed due to a collision between two trains that occurred at the Alugama railway station early this morning. The railway control room stated that a train that is used for transporting fuel from Galle collided with a power set stationed at the Alugama station.
The railway control room stated that the accident occurred around 12:50 this morning and as a result the train sustained damages. No passengers were reported to be on board during the time of the incident. The railway control room said that measures have been taken to remove the train from the tracks. A spokesperson from the railway control room speaking to Newsfirst also noted that railway services along the Mataro and Alugama railway route may experience a slight delay.
Today is the second day of the World Conference on Youth. Several sessions of the conference is to be held at BMSCH premises today. Chairman of the National Youth Services Council, Attorney Law Lalit Pereira, said that by last afternoon, representatives of 158 countries have arrived in the country.
Between 9:30 to 10:30, I'm representing Sri Lanka. Chief Minister Professor Saratha Amunagama will address the gathering today. Furthermore, foreign delegates as well as number of youth affairs ministers will discuss their ideas and thoughts on the main objective or aim of this youth conference. By last evening, a large number of delegates from 58 countries arrived to the island. Apart from the officials and foreign ministers representing their countries, a number of prominent organizations also attended this event. This, I believe, would be considered a special occasion for our country.
Meanwhile, the police say that a special traffic plan is in place in view of the World Conference on Youth.
A special traffic plan is in place in view of the youth conference sessions that are being held at the BMSH today in Colombo. There is no plan to restrict the traffic flow for a long time or to close down roads. However, some roads may be closed for a very short period due to special instances. We try our level best to allow the normal flow of traffic. 8,000 police officers have been deployed for this purpose.
Days.
It is the icon when it comes to Rome and Italy. The Around the World team is currently in Geneva and behind me is the United Nations Palace of Nations.
What you just witnessed were some of the special moments from the Around the World team in 40 days. Now joining us on Primetime Sunrise is special guest, Newsfirst Ramesh Bandar, to share his experience in this tour. Good morning, Ramesh.
Good morning, Katharina.
Yes, now tell me, the team traveled across 5 continents to different countries within 40 days. What was your experience like?
Well, to be very honest, it was once in a lifetime experience. But to be very honest, it was a very tiring journey for us because we were always on the move and we never stayed in one country for more than 2 days. So overall, it was kind of a tiring experience, but once in a lifetime experience because 18 countries in 40 days. What more can you ask?
And within these 40 days, was there any memorable experience or any occasion that you had?
Well, we had some memorable experiences in Italy where we took part in Sinhala New Year celebrations that were specially organized by the Italian embassy. But more significant for me was witnessing the sakura cherry blossoms in Japan because this was the first time that I visited Japan, and during my first visit to Japan I was able to see sakura blossoms, because this is a very rare incident that happens like once or 2 weeks in a year. So getting to witness that for the first time during my first visit to Japan was a very special moment for me.
The main objective of this tour, as we were mentioning all these days, was to spread the World Conference on Youth, the message. What was the response from the youth from all these different countries?
Well, we received an overwhelming response actually. There were, in all the countries that we visited, most of the people, most of the youth that we interacted with wanted to know how they could be a part of this conference, how they could take part in this conference as observers, and we were able to actually facilitate the arrival of some of these youth from different countries who did not know about this conference to the World Conference on Youth, which began yesterday. So we received an overwhelming response, and I believe that these youth were also attending the World Conference now.
Thank you, Ramesh, very much for joining us this morning. Of course, we at Newsfirst like to congratulate you and Yassarat Kamasri as well as the rest of the team for completing this journey successfully.
Thank you.
According to police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana, the culprits involved in the abduction of 2 police officers in Kurunegala and the subsequent murder of one had pumped fuel from a fuel station in Naramala and fled without paying money. The Criminal Investigations Department has commenced broad investigations into the incident. The remains of Constable Chandana Sampath were discovered in Ranavada area in Kurunegala. Constable Ajit Veerasuriya, who survived the ordeal, was able to inform the police with the assistance of the area residents. UPFA parliamentarian Vidura Vikramanayake says that it is unfair to suppress the rights of people in order to protect one's own right. The MP made this observation while attending a meeting in Horana yesterday.
When
we go to the hospital, there is no way of getting any medicine. We consider those in the health and education sector to be supreme. They take people as hostages for their trade union actions. Kidney patients, expectant mothers, they are people who ask for life. Why do we need to get down to such a level? I think there is something wrong with our education system. This is a sorry state. They form trade unions, take children for hostage and go on strike. One group is seeking their right while suppressing the rights of those in the whole country. How unfair is this?
Orders under the National Thoroughfares Act was taken up for debate in Parliament yesterday. Here are a few excerpts from the debate.
They invited us to visit the harbour, the airport and the highway. When we went over there, we were pelted with rotten eggs.
We state that the transformation that we are creating through the construction of highways will be something that Sri Lankans could remember throughout their lifetime.
There are a number of ethnicities in Sri Lanka: Sinhala, Tamil, Muslim, Malay and Burgher. However, in the future we will have to say Sinhala, Tamil, Muslim, Malay and Chinese. They have gotten married and settled down. The Chinese culture has also come into the country with these roads. Earlier it was just Chinese restaurants. Now a Chinese colony is on its way.
These roads are an important factor in national unity as well. Earlier they used to call themselves people who live beyond the Benthar river, upcountry people or Rajarata people. However, these roads have connected everyone.
The landslide warning issued by the National Building Research Organisation will be in effect until this afternoon. The Disaster Management Centre says those residing in landslide-prone areas to continue to be vigilant. We now have the duty meteorologist Ajit Vijayamana giving us details about the weather forecast.
The low pressure area to the west of Sri Lanka is moving away from Sri Lanka. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places over most parts of the island during the afternoon and night. Some showers can be expected in the western, Abraham and southern provinces in the morning too. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by lightning activities. I am Ajit Vijayamana.
After getting off to a shaky start, the visiting Sri Lankan team came back strong to clinch an emphatic 79-run victory against Ireland in their first ODI encounter. The game is worked off in Dublin, Ireland.
Sri Lanka got off to a disastrous start, losing opener Kusal Janit for a duck. Baru Thirimana fell soon after for just 8 runs. The home team managed to bag wickets at regular intervals. However, Sri Lanka went on to post 219 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in their 50 overs. Sri Lanka were buoyed by the efforts of Nuwan Kulasekara, who remained unbeaten on 42, and Dinesh Chandimal, who chipped in with 39.
Oh, that's a fantastic throw. Wonderful throw. Looking for the reverse slog. That's gone up in the air again. That looks as if it's going to fall safely, and in fact it's going to go all the way to the boundary. Stuart Thompson in chase there. A very difficult one for him.
The Sri Lankan Pacers gave Sri Lanka a perfect start, dismissing Peter Sterling and Ed Joyce for trivial scores. Neil O'Brien and William Porterfield threatened to take the game away from Sri Lanka. However, wickets began to tumble after the fall of O'Brien for 33. The hosts were eventually restricted to 140 runs in 39.5 overs. Ajantha Mendis and Surangal Akmal bagged 3 wickets apiece for Sri Lanka.
And that concludes the
On that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime Sunrise. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. For the useless team, I'm Catherine Chang. Have a lovely day ahead.
Hotline 0114 896 896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.